How about the month we made YouTube friends? Today we are in a new video. The application for November 2025 is already there, and with it she has asked us for the THOR book Jane Foster, which the truth has been quite curious. It has turned out quite well. But first friends, I have to show you a new one because the offer I'm making, I'm doing TheShori Black Friday. Okay? From November 1 to 30, 2019, you will have up to a 50% discount on all. The missions that I have in the catalog are valid. And also, if you have any mission that is not in the catalog, you can also ask me why we will also apply the discount to it. Okay, the catalog link is in the description of absolutely all the videos. So stop by if you want to complete a 9, the Destiny Network, the Calvary, any type of mission. So folks, after the spam, let's start with our friend THOR, James Foster. Okay, you're already seeing that I'm my THOR, James Foster. Okay, I got it for 200 and let's go. Isabel, what has changed? And if necessary, in this case, the unique life of this character always active when THOR, active in super attack, nullifies a copy of power, an improvement of the opponent's fury. Careful, because that's very important. While THOR suffers 7 or more shock effects, the opponent receives 80% passive wither. This I remember that it reduces the skill power rate in the power given without basically not charging more power. Then friends too, THOR has 100% high voltage resistance, therefore it is not going to have high voltage damage, and on top of that, THOR's energy is concentrated on itself. Mystical Dispersion Mastery is reduced by 50%. He has a new ability that is strong attacks, that there will be a strong attack after performing a non-combo finisher attack. And a rigorous stunning happens the same way that Dr. Dan has. He has, for example, he has many characters, okay? He has a speaker, the strong attack is stunned. THOR gains critical strength for every personal high voltage effect he has. When THOR hits the opponent with a strong attack, and in short, 2 hindrance passives, remember that the next time it generates an improvement in the opponent since this will be cancelled later. It also has powerful impatience. Other basic attacks within it has a 40% chance of high voltage that does no damage and lasts 15 seconds as basic charge 15. When THOR negates an upgrade, if she inflicts one of these separate high voltage effects on herself, THOR gains attack force for each high voltage effect she suffers up to a maximum of 25. Each time a hindrance effect on the opponent expires or is negated, upgrade on the THOR poses personal high voltage passives. It is key to be using the hard hit in the THOR gameplay. Well, it's part that one, we have a passive of 65% fervor for a maximum of 2 charges. Okay, let's remember that the thing about fervor is that it increases the accuracy of inflicted harmful secrets skills. Okay, therefore, it is quite good for us. Well, it's part done too. Well, because high personal voltage in THOR the final blow inflicts a high voltage disadvantage that causes energy damage for 1. Second, it consumes all personal high voltage liabilities. Are you seeing more or less where someone goes before accumulating those voltages, going to super attack 2 and doing a lot of damage? It doesn't take 3. THOR gains a power harvest passive that grants 50% of maximum power for 15 seconds. Power itself is active. Toro has 60% critical strength. Therefore, our blows are going to do much more damage. So well, let's see how this THOR works, which I already tell you has been quite curious. It has turned out quite well. I like the buff they have done to him. I'll tell you what I think about this ugly boom later, okay? So let's start as always with such a little winter soldier. We basically have to make 4 hits and keep a strong hit to generate those handicaps under winter pay in the meantime. You are already seeing that with our blows, we have the small probability that high voltages will not act underneath. Okay, so what we have to do is almost reach the 2 power bars to throw a super attack 1 so that they give us that advantage of fervor, that what it is going to do is that those high voltages last longer. Basically, we have to hit hard so that we can put in those obstacles, and that in turn, those disadvantages of high voltage, well, they don't go away quickly, because let's remember that when a high voltage ends that damage well, he is going to be saving it. You see, for example, we are going to have his silver, that 2.11 disadvantages of high voltage, and look is the damage we are causing. The truth is that not bad, friends. It's quite good to look. For example, we can also chain strong blows. We throw their silver than 1, because to remember that advantage of fervor, and simply the gameplay is that having luck is worth it. Because in this case, yes, you depend a little on luck that Turging Foster acts with that 40% probability of high voltages and throwing blows. to leave those obstacles. This way, we'll win those high voltage passives. We throw super attack 2 that remember the more and more 15 and look at the damage it is causing with 9. In other words, in this case, it is very very important to throw super attack 1 to be able to generate that fervor advantage and make those high voltage disadvantages last longer. Part of setting them, well, with the strong blows that you are already seeing, that also the strong blows, because they act quite well, have quite a bit of damage worth 24,000 power in this case. Unfortunately, pulling that seems that 2, you are not going to see the damage per second of the high voltage by having 15. Here, it is not because we are going to see that later. In this case, 1.40. I remind you that I explained the character to you. That is the duration you see right now is not what it really is, because when you are fully focused on the game, it will be much better. We are going to live with a class advantage with Captain Marvel, that we remember that she consumes energy, because again, we have to enter with a new 4 blows and a strong blow to generate that hindrance disadvantage. And while we throw well blows to see if we have the small probability of 40% of acting with high voltage on us, let attack 1 to get that fervor advantage and just try to go to super attack 2 with the maximum high voltages possible. It is valid as long as ending with a strong blow to be able to put those blows, those obstacles look like damage. Are we going to make 19,000 per second nothing that is not good but not bad at all, friends? In this case, I already tell you that we depend a little on R of the RNG for that 40% power. Let him act, okay? And in the meantime, also throw that hard blow. Okay. In this case, well, put those enrichment disadvantages and let them pause. Well, not high. Let's see if we can act now. Well, look at 15 disadvantages. Perfect. And look at the damage because of 31,000 per second that we have literally killed the classic Captain Marvel. 31,000 per second, and I think it has been about 4 or 5 hits, and still we still have to apply before removing it. The truth is that it is quite good, and I'm already telling you that I really like the way the character is used. You see a very fast character, and above all, counter to many cosmic characters that we have in the games thanks to that one. Why? Because you can basically remove both power copies and furies. As you are going to see right now with Google Now, I remember that this Google Now has the previous boom kit, okay? So, nothing. Let's start again with the blows. Hard blow to maintain that hindrance. And I remind you that the kid of this Joe now consisted of that every time he threw a super attack, he had unstoppable. And every time we remember, our game porter has the unique ability that every time he puts on an impale and we remove it, well, basically we are going to put an auto voltage on us. Therefore, that is going to be helping us in the gameplay of the character. In this case, you are already seeing the fury that we are obtaining. You are already seeing that with characters against characters that have many improvements, because they are going to be super good for us, as you are already seeing. You have high voltage advantages. Look at that 14,000 damage. In this case, we have not been able to remove that unstoppable because we have not had the gameplay accumulated with those strong blows and so on. And on top of that, it is hitting us. My goodness, there we have it. Also valid. For example, I have not said it, but also in the type of long fights of this style, we can also be supporting you with super attack 3, because you are going to see it right now. And with super attack 3, basically what it does is increase our critical strength. And it also gives us that advantage, pardon the accumulation of power. Therefore, throwing super attacks is going to be easier. Therefore, we are going to get more damage with the perennial. You are already seeing that we have that accumulation advantage below, and that on top of that, we are canceling the advantages. Let's see if we can quickly reach the 15 advantages, and if not, then nothing happens. With 3D, we are also going to do a lot of damage. Basically, it is throwing super attack 2 after super attack 2 with the maximum high voltage charges under Jane Foster available. You're already looking at 7x7. In theory, your thing would be to pull with a disadvantage. And I see that the RG is not on our side. Okay? Let's see if we have finished with him and finish with the impressions and what I think about this character, about this Buffett. Okay, in this case, I'm already telling you that I really liked it because it's 1 year old. Quite a few disadvantages of the high handicap that takes this Joe Jane Foster. What are the disadvantages of high voltage active? Okay, it is true that the ones we put on are passive, but I think we should be putting voltage on the opponent so that in this way the opponent cannot give disadvantages. Besides, James Foster, friends, I'm seeing him as more character, more damage from disadvantages, more utilization, more than gross damage, okay? And I think he's going to be a pretty good character in Battlegrounds, okay? He requires Awakened Life, as we have already seen, so we go that personal. The truth is that that doesn't seem bad to me at all. Buffoon, right? Compared to the Buterino that was total, but that's why this one stayed longer. Leave me the comments, friends. What do you think of Jane Foster's bug? I already tell you that it looks like it's going to be a fairly quick character to use because you've already seen that a couple of hits 1 and 2 can do a lot of damage by high passes when the character we face is not. So, nothing, friends. I leave you back here on Sorry's Black Friday. You have it somewhere they have. If you want any mission, you have the Katavo in the description. Friends, you like the video, what you didn't, and see you in Chow Chow. And before finishing the video, thank you very much to all of you who are members of the channel, to JP, to Elian Ramirez, and Oscar Pelmeron for being VIP Sorry this November 2025. You have to become a member in the description of the video. Thank you very much, everyone.